Now on CoastTV News.
Moving sand from the south side of the inlet to the north to help fight erosion.
Durable tents for the homeless, the upgrades coming to Tharros, and what it means for those who call the village home.
Bad for us, but good for the plants. Why local farmers and gardeners say all our winter weather might have actually helped.
And it's looking like we're going to continue to deal with the kind of dense fog that just don't know when to quit.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Soon, sand will flow through this pipe to help restore the Indian River Inlet. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with operations set to resume at the Indian River Inlet.
For years, the north side of the Indian River Inlet has dealt with erosion. And now a recently upgraded system is preparing to start back up. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe shows us how sand from the south side will be used to rebuild the North Beach.
The waves on the south end of the Indian River Inlet are nowhere close to the bridge, but over on the north end, the constant erosion is bringing the waves ever so closer to the highway, a problem that has led to dune breaches and the highway being shut down.
Over the years, it's been a continual source of problems.
Randy Cripps has lived in the area for over 20 years and believes keeping this highway open is critical.
To get to a point where you don't have access to this bridge, we're talking about all the healthcare issues we have out here trying to get to emergency areas. It'd be a significant problem.
But starting March 16th, a new bypass system will begin pumping sand again. According to DENREC, this comes after an upgrade from diesel to electric power. The system moves sand from the south side of the inlet to the north to help reduce beach erosion and keep the beaches healthy. According to DENREC, the diesel machinery failed around 2019. Leaving the system offline for several years. DENREC says operations are expected to begin in March and will run from Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. through May 15th, and then restart the system after Labor Day to pump sand continuously through May 2027. Cripps hopes it works well.
I'm not 100% sure the sand movement is going to work, but I'm hopeful that it is.
Temporary closures and restrictions are in place near the inlet, and visitors are warned to stay out of designated work areas. I'm Kevin Zappe, Indian River Inlet, CoastTV News.
Now, all of this is taking place at Delaware Seashore State Park, and the prep and pipe placement is beginning March 9th. That will require closing beach crossovers by the jetty. DENREC says some nature preserves and select trails will also be temporarily closed for safety.
Today, Tharros Village, located on Route 1 in Lewis, unveiled its upgraded tent program meant to give the homeless a more solid place to call home for summer. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Lewis. Emma, it's not just the tents that are different.
Charlie, take a look behind me. This is a sneak peek of what will soon fill all of Tharros Village. You can see this is a much more heavy-duty, durable tent here. Executive Director Mike Agnew tells me these tents weigh 68 pounds. The previous tents weighed 14 pounds. So just to give you an idea of how much more heavy-duty these are, huge advantages for withstanding weather. Agnew says last year, people who live here had to be evacuated twice when Hurricane Aaron hit the coast and the nor'easter. Also, the sun, the UV rays were damaging those old tents. That shouldn't be a problem with these, Agnew hopes. And take a look at the bottom too. These permanent wooden raised structures, unlike the temporary ones before. This is just one tent though, and now Tharros needs money to fund 28 of these tents. That's 28 for the men and women who can live here, many of whom Executive Director Mike Agnew says work in our shops and restaurants. Agnew says this requires investments. The total structure costs $1,100, $600 for that permanent wooden platform, $500 for the tent itself, which again, heavy duty and wind resistant. For the past 2 years, folks living at Tharros were in these camping tents you see, which were much thinner on temporary wooden pallets, as I mentioned. The nonprofit is looking for people to sponsor these upgrades.
The pallets that we used were good, but not substantial enough, and they break, right? They're not designed for the purpose that we used them for. In this particular case, we're now stepping it up. You know, we're really moving from a pilot program to a community asset.
Now, Tharros plans to have the first 10 of these tents done in the first few weeks of April, with all 28 by Memorial Day. Reporting live here in Lewis tonight, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Emma, thank you. Temperatures are warming up, giving us a small taste of spring. After weeks of snow and cold, gardeners and farmers are eager to see flowers and fruits begin to bloom. Henry Bennett, who works at Bennett Orchard, says that warm weather can sometimes do more harm than good, and that every degree matters.
For us, actually, a cold winter like we've been experiencing outside of today is actually really good, because our trees need chilling hours, which is hours between about 30 degrees to 45 degrees, and that keeps them in dormancy, and then it avoids what we call a false spring, where they bloom prematurely.
Garden centers also say the good thing about these winter storms and rainy days is it brought a lot of moisture, saying that now it's better to start planting now.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, when do you start planting your garden at home?
Let's take a look at the results so far. 35% say they don't garden, but 30% say mid-April, 30% say late March. Only 5% are planting at the moment.
And my wife said whenever I can get her more space to garden. So if you want to go vote, you can do that at coasttv.com or use the Coast TV mobile app.
The city of Milford says there will be a planned power outage. That's happening Wednesday, March 11th at 8 a.m. The city says although crews did restore power during the storm, some of the infrastructure in Milford requires permanent repairs to ensure continued safety and reliability. The city says this power outage is going to be planned for customers on Elks Lodge Road and Orchard Hill, but this is important. Pam Health and Bay Health Hospital, the Sussex campus, they are not going to be affected by that power outage.
Taking a live look now into Rehoboth Beach, it's still gray, but the temperatures have surely improved as we check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams.
You know, typically with this kind of gray and drizzle and fog around, it's like, it's really kind of a depressing kind of man. With the temperatures rising, like, at 44, feels like a treat. Everything's relative, right? Well, take a look. For example, we have the fog that's actually overtaking portions of Ocean City as well, and 44 degrees. And we're going to stay in the low 40s with the fog still hovering around at the very least until the 6 o'clock hour. In fact, I expect it to be extended beyond that. We had lows today of about 45 degrees. That's the low. 51 is the normal high for the day for this time of the year. So that works. Now we have a newly reinitiated dense fog advisory that now kicks in until 10 o'clock on Thursday. And don't be surprised if it's extended beyond that by the time we get to Thursday. And we have that same concern right off of the coast with a marine dense fog advisory as well. So we're focusing on fog and temperatures climbing very nice and steadily. More on that coming up in a moment. Till then, back to you guys.
Thank you, Paul. The former Atlantic General Hospital in Berlin now has a new name. Tidal Health announced the new name as Tidal Health Atlantic, saying the change represents the hospital joining the Tidal Health system and bringing together the two systems. Cody Taylor, a physician at the hospital, says while there's also an implementation of a new patient portal for this location, the care patients receive is not going to change.
It just really helps the patients of Delmarva to get that good, consistent care and not be affected by having the happenstance of, my heart doctor's over here and my GI doctor's over there and they don't talk to each other. It just makes communication better, it makes information better, and for physicians, for people in the medical community, the more information we have, that's always the best for the patients.
Today's ceremony included the reveal of the hospital's new Skyline sign and the announcement that all AGH system locations will take that Tidal Health name. After 5 days of striking Iran, the Trump administration says the U.S. is doing very well taking out Iran's weapons.
But as NBC's White House correspondent Monica Alba reports, lawmakers still have questions.
5 days into the war with Iran, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says America is winning decisively.
The mission is laser focused. Obliterate Iran's missiles and drones and facilities that produce them, annihilate its navy and critical security infrastructure, and sever their pathway to nuclear weapons.
He praised the attack on an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean, torpedoed by a U.S. submarine. CENTCOM says the U.S. has eliminated 20 Iranian ships in the mission, and the U.S. will soon control all of Iran's airspace.
Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour.
On Capitol Hill, a different battle, with Democrats and some Republicans not satisfied with the administration's explanation on the war.
I have questions after yesterday's briefing, but it was a good briefing.
Both chambers considering a war powers resolution. The Senate expected to vote on it today, forcing President Trump to get congressional authority before going to war.
Under our Constitution, only one entity can declare war, and that is Congress. And this is a war. And how do we know that? Because President Trump says it's a war.
Republicans oppose the resolution, which is not expected to pass. The U.S. is now scrambling to get American citizens out of harm's way, with many countries in the Middle East closing airspace. The State Department is chartering flights and offering military jets.
We've also opened up space available seats as C-17s and other airplanes come in to try to help folks get out.
For many still stranded, trying to leave is a struggle.
When I get to the airport, the police was there yelling and screaming people. And, I say, hey, I am American. I pull up my passport. I am a U.S. citizen. I need to head home. They say, go back to your hotel. We'll update you.
I don't feel the government is really doing enough for everybody stuck in the Middle East.
The war also hitting Americans' wallets. 20% of the world's oil and natural gas is shipped through the Strait of Hormuz, now closed with the hostilities, and that is having a direct effect on U.S. gas prices. The average cost of a gallon of gas is now $3.20, up 22 cents in just 1 week.
The White House is expected to meet with defense contractors on Friday, where they will discuss weapons production. The meeting comes amid questions about whether the U.S. has enough munitions to carry out a war that the president says could last weeks or longer. Monica Alba, NBC News, the White House.
Delaware State Police asking the public to help identify these people, what troopers claim they did.
Abundant low-level moisture is setting us up for some light rain, but more importantly, a lot of dense fog that won't let us see our way through.
But first, Fenwick Light Fight, how the coastal town is working to update its ordinance designed to deter light pollution, up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Efforts continued in Fenwick today to reduce light pollution. This is what the neighborhoods on the beach side of Fenwick look like after the sun goes down, and the view from the little Assawoman Bay side.
A recent Dark Skies Committee meeting, members discussed ways to improve the town Dark Skies website to better educate the public.
The committee is also working to enhance the current town ordinance, which it plans to present to the Charter and Code Committee in March. Some neighbors, though, don't really see the need.
We do actually have a street light right directly outside of our house, and it's never really bothered us.
The next Fenwick Dark Skies Committee meeting will be on April 1st at 10 a.m.
Coming up next, Paul Williams in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center with your full forecast after this.
Well, this fog has just started picking a fight with us, and it doesn't seem to want to quit. So we're going to be bullied by some more dense fog for the next couple of days in a row at the very least. In Ocean View right now, we're holding at about 41 degrees. Dew point temperature's right there, just 1 degree away. So, yeah, we have an abundance of moisture that's hovering in the atmosphere, and it's staying on the lower levels close to the ground pretty steadily. And so some dense drizzle and a little bit of light rain, that's going to teeter back between, or oscillate would be the better word, oscillate between those two pretty steadily, like we're going to oscillate between 39, 40, and 41 for the rest of the night in Ocean View. Dense fog advisory, newly issued, a new one, for all of Sussex, and really it's pertains to the marine area as well. We're looking at visibility dropping to near zero in most locations. That also includes the beaches like Slaughter Beach, Broadkill Beach, as well as Oyster Rocks. Drawbridge also in Waples dealing with that dense fog as well, not only for the inland areas, but for the marine areas. So we have that marine dense fog that reaches all the way down towards Fenwick Island. Even though we're not officially under a dense fog advisory for Ocean City, pretty much count that in that category as well. A quasi-stationary front is in our neck of the woods with a low pressure system just on the other side of the Chesapeake Bay area. Now that low is not causing a great deal of instability, but it's going to keep it gray, drizzly, and all that other kind of stuff. We're between 2 to 10 degrees warmer now, up to even 13 in Cambridge than we were yesterday. Now we are surpassing the norm for this time of the year. High today of 56 degrees, 51 is where we're supposed to park our cars, so to speak. Early in the morning, here comes another wave of light to moderate showers. 2:30 in the morning, really right along Highway 1 and Highway 9. And then we just see a smattering, a freckling effect, so to speak, of rain shower activity that will continue throughout Thursday. Now, here's another thing. You see all of this? This isn't showing that your television is not out of focus. This is our symbol for fog on the coast, okay? So we're looking at dense fog for Lewis, Rehoboth, Dewey, Bethany, Ocean City, and Chincoteague, all the beaches. But temperatures above 51. And we're starting off with the temperatures staying in the 50s for us as we go into Thursday. Friday, we see a couple of isolated cells that race across just in the most northern portions of our viewing area briefly. Fast moving, they could have a little punch to them, but they seem to blossom more into strong storms by the time they get off book, okay? Look for a chance of scattered showers, especially on Sunday with a 46% chance by then, as this rain begins to pull on through pretty steadily with our showers kind of pushing through on a steady basis. Last but not least, look how dense this fog is for Thursday. Then we go into Thursday night, still dense fog. Wherever you see gray, that's where the fog is sticking around, and that's what we can't seem to shake. So for the next 3 days in a row, we're looking at fog, fog, and foggier. It's Ocean City, fog, fog, and foggier. And if you hadn't heard it enough already, Rehoboth Beach and Lewis, fog, fog, and foggier. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Paul. The Delaware State Police are asking for the public's help in identifying the people you see here on your screen. This is in relation to a burglary last week in the Lincoln area. Troopers think the crew forced entry into an unoccupied home and damaged things inside.
We salute Donald Reese Rathel. Don proudly served 20 years in the United States Navy, dedicating 2 decades to the country he loved. His pride in wearing the uniform never faded. He often said he would do it all over again if given the chance. Don passed away on December 17, 2020, and was laid to rest with honor at the Veterans Cemetery in Hurlock, Maryland. We are grateful for his service, and his legacy of duty and patriotism will not be forgotten.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Georgetown is seeking applicants for 1 open seat on its planning commission with a 3-year term expiring in May 2029. Applicants must be at least 21 years old, a U.S. and Delaware citizen, and live in Georgetown with an interest in urban and rural planning. The commission overseeing zoning, land use, and development and meets the 3rd Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m.
With spring break starting, United Airlines has announced a policy change. Headphones or earbuds, that's no longer just etiquette, it's a requirement. Any United passenger who blasts audio from their devices and refuses to wear headphones or earbuds could get banned permanently.
Southwest Airlines says it's addressing concerns about its new boarding process. Some passengers say it's hard to find bin space given new baggage fees and assigned seats. In an email to customers, Southwest says it's revamping the boarding process for traffic flow. It's also upgrading to larger storage and offering labeled bins to customers who pay extra.
Good news for those planning for retirement. The average 401k balance rose by 11%. That's according to Fidelity Investments. It's the 3rd straight year that the average corporate workplace retirement account enjoyed a double-digit hike. Analysts say the strong showing comes from consistent saving habits by participants as well as overall market performance. The findings were based on nearly 25 million accounts. Let's take a live look into Cambridge. One more check on your forecast after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, a roof collapses in Peddler's Village, the cause of the damage, and more coming up tonight on Coast TV News at 6.
In Cambridge, temperatures staying in the 40s with thick cloud cover staying in play. We have a stationary, quasi-stationary boundary that's across our neck of the woods, helping to create that foggy feel permanently, at least. It feels like it's permanent. Listen, Thomas Ligotti of Millsboro, congratulations, you're our umbrella winner, courtesy of Paul Davis, property restoration experts. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the Lofts of Bruxted, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Yeah, that fuzziness on that Thursday, that's indicating more fog, okay? And then we'll drop to 49 on Friday because there will be no sunshine. But over the weekend, we'll warm back up. And then, what? 80, near 80 degrees on Wednesday? Say it ain't so. Oh, yeah, it is. It's what we call party time. Party time. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more of that great local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.